We are in Parashat Lecha. We are going to learn from the teachings of the Ben Ish Chai. And very exciting parasha because we get to meet our hero, Avraham Avinu. And Avraham Avinu was really a symbol of a role model that one should really mimic his lifestyle and how he conducted himself and really apply that to their life. And one big thing that was really very common to Avraham Avinu, his obedience to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. He was so dedicated to the Kadosh Baruch Hu that he wouldn't even doubt Hashem for 1 second. And it says in our parasha, this can be found in chapter 12, verse 4, Vayelech Avram kasher diber elav Hashem. And Avram left as the Lord spoke to him. And of course it's referring to that he left Ur Kasdim. His name was still Avram, not Avraham. And it says, Avraham Avinu haya zariz gadol. Avraham Avinu was very quick to a mitzvah. The Kadosh Baruch Hu told him to do something, right away he would do it, without hesitating. As it says here, Sha'alach techev u'miyad kasher diber elav Hashem. The second Hashem told him, leave Ur Kasdim, didn't ask any questions, didn't try to put his property on the market, didn't say goodbye, wrapped it up and left. Without asking question. And he left so fast that you have to understand, Avraham Avinu was 75 years old. He wasn't like a little kid with a backpack. He was a very wealthy individual, a lot of cattle and sheep and slaves. But nevertheless, he says he left so fast, nobody was able to leave as fast as him. Only Lot got up and left with him. And he says, ואל תחשוב שכל זריזות זו שהייתה באברהם היה ראויה אלא מכוח טבעו. Don't think that the fact that he just got up and left was his nature. A lot of people say, you know what, maybe that was his nature. Maybe he was very obedient. Maybe he was, quick to do things. Some people are a little slower to get up in the morning. Some people just jump out of bed with no problem. So one can argue and say, you know what, why are you making Avraham Avinu so special? Maybe his nature was to right away quickly act without thinking too much. And one can even say, maybe that's not even a good quality. Not even thinking. Maybe, what should I do? Let me plan. They just get up and leave. But it says, don't think that was his nature. Saying in other words, שהיה בחור וטבע הבחור להיות זריז ונזכר. That saying in other words that he chose to be like that. I mean, you can choose to be lazy by clicking the snooze button. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. But you choose to, in your mind, you're like saying, another 10 minutes. It's not going to kill you. You know, when you know you're going to click the snooze button, is that you set up in your alarm clock 2 times. 6 and 6:15. That's when you know you're not getting up at 6. In the olden clocks, you only have one option. Now people use their phone as an alarm clock. So you set up 3 times. 6 is the hour you want to wake up. 6:15 is in case you don't wake up. And 6:45 is that you must wake up. So that's how you know you're going to click the snooze button when you're already setting up option number 2. But nevertheless, Avraham Avinu chose to be like that. And it says, Avraham ben 5 shanim ו70 shana, he was 75 when he left Haran. Shaya zaken, he was old. This is not a young man. שעבר 70 שנה שהם סתם ימי זקנה של אדם. And it wasn't just 70 years of nothing. Right? It was 70 years that he acquired a lot. Not only that, שלא היה זריזותו מצד מזגו. You can't say that was his nature. A 75-year-old is not so quick anymore. You can say, okay, maybe that was his nature when he was in his 30s and 40s. When a person is 75 years old, you don't just jump out of bed and move fast. By default, you move slower. But nevertheless, he says the reason why Avraham Avinu was so fast to do a mitzvah, היה מצד מזגו, that was his choice, אלא מצד צדקתו ואהבתו לקדוש ברוך הוא. It was also his love and his right to Hashem and his righteousness that caused him to act so fast and not to ask any questions and act the second Hashem told him. Okay, now that we understand that Avraham Avinu, it wasn't only his nature, because a lot of people, like I told you, they're not lazy, but it takes time till they get the engine warming up. And some people, they by default, it's very easy for them to get up and do something. But here in the case of Avraham Avinu, he was quick to act because his love to Hashem and his righteousness, and it wasn't dafka his nature. Okay, now that we understand that, we mentioned here a digit, which was the age of Avraham Avinu when he left Ur Kasdim. He was 75 years old. Okay, now let's see something else. It says here, the fact that the Torah wrote how old was Avraham Avinu makes a big difference. In many cases, it doesn't say how old the person was. Here and there it says the person's age. But in many cases, we don't know the age of the person when something so big happened. So it says, if it says something about his age, must be that there's something to take from here. So it says as follows. Let me first explain to you a certain story that is written in a book called Chazon Lamoed. And he takes a verse there from the book of Mishlei, from Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 27. And it says, Yirat Hashem tosif yamim, the fear of the Lord will add days, ushnot reshaim tiktzorna, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. Okay, this is a verse in the book of Mishlei, in Proverbs, and the book Chazon Lamoed, it gives an explanation. What is it talking about? It's talking about two individuals that died in the same day. His name was Reuben, the other one, his name was Shimon. And they both died same day. Same day they took the elevator up to the heavens and they were standing in front of the heavenly court. And it says as follows, Reuben niftar ben shivim, Reuben was 70 years old, and Shimon ben shishim, and Shimon was 60 years old. Okay, they're standing in front of the heavenly court, and they're asking the heavenly court, asking Reuben, how old are you? So he tells them, I'm 70. Okay, that's how old he died. They told him, no, you're not 70. You're only 10 years old. Okay, now they're asking Shimon, how old are you? So he tells them, I'm 60. They're telling him, no, you are 40 years old. Now comes Reuben and says, whoa, you're telling me I'm 10 and he's 40? How can it be? How can he be older than me? I was in his Brit Milah. You're telling me that I'm 10 and he's 40? How can it be? So he says as follows. The heavenly court telling him, we're not going by the passport. The age in Shamayim doesn't go by your date of birth. The age in Shamayim goes by kisharon hamasim, how good and kosher your actions were. Saying in other words, Veshanim shavru la'adam b'chataim enam nichshavim l'shanim. The years that you have sinned, we don't count it as years. The years that you have lived in the path of Torah, that's the years we're counting. Saying in other words, Rak shanim shem bekisharon hamasim em shanim. Only the years that you are following the Torah, these are considered years. Therefore, it says about Reuven, Lachen ata kol yamecha hayita choteh. All your life you were a sinner. And only in the age of 60, you did tshuva. So when you died when you were 70, really, you're only 10 years old. You're not 60. And it says about Shimon, the other way around. Also, you lived 60 years, but for 20 years you were a sinner. And 40 years you did tshuva. So you're 40. Very simple. That's why Shlomo HaMelech says, Yirat Hashem tosif yamim. Fear of the Lord will add you days. And why? Because if you're fearing Hashem and you're acting upon it and you are a God-fearing individual, then what does it do? It adds all the years to the count. Right? Now, and more than that, יש מתקן בשנים האחרונים את השנים שחסרו ממנו וחוסרים ונוספים לו. So if this is the calculation, so let's say just for the sake of the example, I'm now 46 and I did Shuvah when I was 26. So one can come and tell you, you're not 46 and you're 20 because you only did Shuvah 20 years. Now, okay, let's say it take you 2-3 years to start the engine. So really you're 17, which I wouldn't mind being 17 right now. But nevertheless, with the wisdom of 46, but nevertheless, One can say, listen, okay, according to the years you did tshuva, this is your spiritual age. But here he says something interesting. יש מתקן בשנים האחרונים את השנים שחזרו ממנו. But you can still fix, while you are alive and doing tshuva, the years that you are missing. Right? I told you not once and not twice. When I became observant, I calculated certain mitzvot that I missed, how many times I missed it. So I made a calculation from bar mitzvah till 26, how many years I didn't put tefillin, how many times I didn't put tefillin on. It was very simple. I took the date from my bar mitzvah all the way till the date that I started, and I calculated a little bit over 4,000 times that I didn't put tefillin on. And then I did certain actions to pay back. So one can catch up these years. So just to conclude it, a person's years in Shamayim, in the heavens, are counted according to the years that he's following the Torah. And if a person, was sinning for 40 years, they don't count these years as his life in the spiritual world, of course. Unless the person did Shuvah and is catching up, and then it can be his years 100%. And when Shlomo Melech says, Ushnot Rashaim Tiktzorna, and the years of the wicked are going to chop off, right? It says the years of the wicked will be shortened. Why? שמקלקלים שנותם ואין מתקנים מהעבר. That you are wasting years and you're not fixing the years in the past. So now you did tshuva, you're 30, you're 40, you're 60. Not only that you have to live your life according to the Torah, now pay back the years that you missed. ולכך, and therefore, אף על פי שימותו זקנים בני 70, and what's going to happen in this case, even if you die when you're 70, it's can be considered that you're 10 years old and spiritual. Okay. עד כאן טורף דבריו. This is what he quotes from the book of Chazon Lamoed. And it says as follows. There's a verse in the book of Eov. It says, Katon vegadol shamhu. This is in the book of Eov, in Job chapter 3, verse 13. Small and great are there. That's what it says in the book. And it says as follows. Ki sham mitbarer mi ze katan bashanim. In the heavens, they're going to find out who's small in years. That's why the verse says small and great are there. Oh, there means in the world to come, we're going to know who's small in years and who's great in years. Here, a person can look very great and he's not so great. And a person can look very simple, not such a gem, but we know, we don't know. And it says as follows, Mi ze gadol b'shanim, who's great in years, and who's not? Ki yesh batar de kashish hadar hatam ledar kadei. And sometimes a person is old in age, but not real great in actions. And sometimes a person is young in age, and and very great in action. Uvazeh yuvan ma shamru b'gemara. Now we can understand what it says in the Talmud, Tractate Sutta, page 53. Ashrei yaldutenu shelo bisha ziknatenu. Happy is our childhood that is not putting our late years, our elderly years, to shame. If you did good when you were young, then it will pay off when you're older. Now we can also understand what David HaMelech says in Tehillim, chapter 23, verse 6. Veshavti bevet Hashem, and I will dwell in the house of God. Where is it? Olam haba. What's the house of God? Olam haba, not here. And it says le'orech yamim, to length of days. That's of course going on the world to come. Shegam shamani nechshav zaken ben 70 shana. David HaMelech says, here in this world I died when I was 70, but also in the world to come I'm considered 70. Kasher ani b'olam hazeh. You want to be the same age in the world to come, what you died in this world. You know, they say on the tombstone, 1948 to 2003, your age. It doesn't mean that's your age in Shamayim. David HaMelech says, I want to be the same age in Shamayim what I was here. It means I lived my years to the fullest. And it says in the Midrash, something very interesting. One opinion in the Midrash says Avraham Avinu was 3 years old when he realized that there's a creator to the world. And another opinion in the Midrash says that Avraham Avinu was 48 when he realized that there's a God in the world, meaning did tshuva. So for the one, the one that says that Avraham Avinu figured out that the Kadosh Baruch Hu exists when he was 3, אם כן, היה חושב איש שוגה דחסרו אותו 3 שנים. So one can say, wait a minute, so Avraham Avinu is missing 3 years. Right? Because he didn't, 3 years, he didn't believe in Hashem. ועתה בצאתו נחשב שהוא בן עין בית שנים. So now when he leaves Haran, he's really 72, not 75, because he's missing 3 years. 75 is in the passport, but 73 years that he was living devoted to Hashem. ולמען דאמר בן ממחת, and for the opinion that said that he was 48 when he figured out or discovered Hashem, then you know, so technically he's now 27 years old when he left Haran. That's to the 2 opinions. לכך בא כתוב והגיד, but the text came and said, no, you are not right and you are not right. He's not 72 and he's not 27. The text came clearly to say that Avraham Avinu alav shalom was 75. When Avraham Avinu left Haran, he was 75. Not 72, according to the first opinion, or 27 according to the second opinion. Why? אחר שהכיר את השם יתברך, after he figured out that there's a master to the universe, doesn't matter right now if he was 3 or 48. תיקן את אותם שנים שהיו לו בגינותו, ולא נחסרו ממנו. He did tshuva for the missing years. So it doesn't matter which opinion you go by in the Midrash, 3 or 48, he fixed the years prior to that. ולא נחסרו ממנו. So then he didn't miss any years. כי בצאתו מחרן, when he left Haran, he was 75 full years. So from here, you want to take a very valuable lesson. The first lesson, as we started, is that it says, זריזים מקדימים למצוות. The ones who are quick, they grab the mitzvah. Don't think too much. Somebody comes and throws to your direction a mitzvah, don't start thinking, I really wanted to take a nap right now. Can we do it tomorrow? No, we can't do it tomorrow. And sometimes a person comes and throws at you an opportunity for a mitzvah and you start thinking about it. Don't think about it, you'll miss the opportunity. I mean, sometimes you have to think it. I'm not telling you just to jump kamikaze on the mitzvah. But what I'm saying is, the Talmud says, "Zrizim makdimim lemitzvot." A person who's quick grabs the mitzvah. Don't think too much. When there's an opportunity of the mitzvah. If you're going after a mitzvah, nothing's bad going to happen from it. Don't think you're going to lose something, your time, your money, your effort. There's no such a thing that you're going after a mitzvah and you're going to lose something. That's guaranteed. So first of all, we have to learn to not be lazy and to grab as many mitzvot possible, especially that the clock is ticking, both for the coming of Mashiach and both for our life. I don't know how long I have in this place to survive. People are dying left and right now. Hashem Yerachem. And more than that, Mashiach is coming. So every second you grab a mitzvah. You don't wait too long. This is number one. Number two, we take from our forefather, the first of all, that he says, okay, it doesn't matter right now if he figured out that there's a master of the universe when he was 3 or 48. He figured it out, that's what counts. So we also figured out that there's a master to the universe. One was 26, one was 42, one was 17, one was 60, it doesn't matter. So first of all, from this point on, you live your life devoted to Hashem. But you have to catch up for all the years that you missed. And you don't want to be missing years. You don't want to die, chas v'shalom, 85 years old, and in Shamayim you're considered 60, because 25 years you're missing. We want to take from our father, our forefathers, our role models. And as long as I'm alive, as the famous quote from Rabbi Israel from Salant, Kol od haner dolek, אפשר לתקן. As long as the candle is lit, you can fix. So we have to take advantage and opportunity that every moment that I have to not only live my life in the present, I also have to think of the past and say, wait a minute, I don't want to be missing any years. How many Shabbatot did I miss? I missed X amount of Shabbatot, observing Shabbatot. I missed whatever, 300 Shabbatot. Then you catch it up. And now is not the time to elaborate how you catch it up. One of the ways of catching it up is making other people doing it. But there are ways how to catch up. I told you when I was missing nearly a little bit over 4,000 times that I didn't put tefillin on. How do you catch this up? So you go with a pair of tefillin to the street. Are you Jewish? Come and put tefillin on. You Jewish? Come and put tefillin on. And you start packing it in. You help this person buy tefillin. That person you help buy tefillin. And it all gathers up. At some point you catch up. And this is one example out of many. But you don't want to miss the opportunity that the years prior to that, you're not fixing that. You're not filling that. and then your amount of years spiritually is lacking from the physical years. And Avraham Avinu, you know how Avraham Avinu was, he did that? Then he had an open tent. Everybody came to eat by him. He gave everybody food. He did charity. He taught people Torah. He taught people that there's a God. He made everybody, it says that Avraham Avinu would convert the men and Sarah would convert the women. So he went and did outreach, what is called in our generation. He did kiruv. Why? You bring other people in, and so you're filling in the ears. So there are ways how to fill in the ears, but the point we want to take from that is not how you do it right now, is the fact that you want to do it. I'm not saying need to, you want to do it. It's not a mandatory, but you don't want to come up to Shamayim and they'll tell you in the passport you're 85, but in your spiritual years you're only 20 years. So we want to take from that you live the life in present serving Hashem, and also for the past we want to catch up. And the best way of doing it is going out of your way to help other people to become more closer to Hashem, more observant, more following the mitzvot, doing whatever you can. That by that, exactly like Avraham Avinu that went out of Ur Kasdim, the days were perfect. It says about Avraham Avinu, we say that every Rosh Chodesh, V'Avraham Zaken ba b'yamim, V'Hashem berach et Avraham b'kol. Ba b'yamim, that all his life he was... he lived his life for the fullest. Not one day that he wasted, that he missed his mitzvot or praying or whatever it is. So we want to learn from Avraham Avinu and Bezrat Hashem. When we come to the world to come, our days are full like Avraham Avinu, and we took advantage of every second in this world. And really, this is the point we want to take: is take advantage of every moment in this world. Don't waste your time on nonsense. On things that are irrelevant. Some people waste their time on arguments and fights and disagreements, and it's a waste of time. You're wasting your time. Every moment in the day you can do something positive. Most people, they waste their day. It's unbelievable how much they waste a day. Hours of the day are wasted. Your day has to be calculated, planned well. Not telling you to slave yourself 18 hours a day, but it has to be calculated well, planned well, that you're not missing any opportunity and you're grabbing mitzvot left and right. Every opportunity you have. You have 10 minutes, you're standing in line in the bank, read Tehillim. You're in a car commuting, learn Torah. Every second, grab the mitzvot as much as you can. Not too long ago, we were driving somewhere and somebody was hitchhiking. And whoever was with me was like, look, wow, why is the person hitchhiking? And it's not safe, it's not this. It's the person is hitchhiking, so we can have the opportunity to do chesed and to take that person and to grab a mitzvah on the way, and not to say, I don't feel like taking this guy right now in my car. He's going to start talking to me, and that person is standing there, so you have the opportunity to give him a ride. So the point we want to take from that is grab them while you can, and grab them with both hands. Them, I'm taking down by the opportunities to do mitzvot, and cherish every moment that you have, and Bezrat Hashem will merit to fill in our storages with tons of mitzvot, especially before Mashiach is coming, and hopefully maybe that's going to sweeten the arrival of Mashiach, that it will be faster, smoother, sweeter, with less and less judgments. Have a wonderful week.